everybody? This is K-Dog, K-Cork. We are here today with M. Abdallah and Max Walk. This is Just 3 Jobbers. Boys. Wow, what just happened on Monday Night Raw? That was insane. I mean, let me tell you what, these last few weeks of Monday Night Raw, or I'd say the last 2 weeks, ever since Undergrounds came into the fold, I'm kidding, that's not the big thing, but I'd say there's some superstars who are at an elite level right now. I mean, what do you guys got to say with that?
I mean, yeah, it's been a pretty solid 2 weeks of Raw. It kind of ended. It started strong and it ended strong with regular Raw kind of BS in between. But yeah, I mean, Randy Orton is still Randy Orton, and the Seth Rollins Dominic storyline has been really strong. So yeah, it was pretty breezy episode of Raw for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what do you think, Moose?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think Max is kind of right. There's always going to be some little Raw BS in between. But, yeah, like the storylines for Randy Orton and Drew is crazy good. And then you also have, the main event, which we'll get into later. But the ending of Raw, kind of with Ric Flair and Randy Orton. We'll get into that later. But that was, kind of a turn of events that I don't think a lot of people was expecting. So
Yeah, you guys definitely – I think you guys described it perfectly. It started off hot and ended hot, and we can start off with it right now. I mean, it started off with Seth Rollins, Dominic, and I guess Samoa Joe being the mediator for a contract signing for SummerSlam between Dominic and Seth Rollins. It was interesting because – oh, sorry?
So that works in the storyline. I mean, Samoa Joe is just – butting heads with Seth Rollins. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? I forget which one, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Last week. And then you have Dominic signing his official WWE contract as well.
Yeah.
He's a superstar.
Very good point.
Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah, very good point. So that means, is he skipping NXT, or is that, you think, just like the action?
Well, he's skipping NXT as in like wrestling on NXT, but I'm pretty sure he's been training at the Performance Center. I don't think he's actually been just like he's just going straight to the main roster training.
I also wouldn't be surprised though after this match if he moves down to NXT just for a few shows or just like a couple months. Just because I don't think that's fair. Just because he's Rey Mysterio's son to have him move up ahead of a lot of people. Because I mean, I don't know. I just don't think it's right. But
yeah, well, a lot of things aren't fair, but it calls for him. I mean, it's not.
Rey Mysterio's he's a commodity right now.
Yeah. They want Dominic Mysterio. They don't want Dominic Dijakovic.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, which I think he might be under the mask for another thing, but we can go into that later. But, yeah, no, nothing. I mean, it was a very strong segment. Easy for Dominic. I'd say he does actually honestly pretty well on camera. Doesn't seem very nervous or anything like that.
Talks better than Paul Cruz.
Paul Cruz is a pretty good talker.
Yeah.
The worst laugh. Paul Cruz has the worst laugh ever. Just a terrible fake laugh.
All right. Let's finish this Seth segment and Dominic segment. I just want to say that Joe was the standout performer besides Seth. I just thought they've been just teasing him. I honestly hope to God he's returning soon. That's just my only hope.
Hot take, I think Samoa Joe helps Dominic win somehow at SummerSlam.
I don't predict that. That'd be interesting. I just for some reason think that Seth's just gonna.
I feel like it would be Aleister Black first returning.
Yeah, I could happen.
Yeah.
Sure. I don't know. It's a really interesting match to book. I mean, before we kind of get into that, even though like we haven't really talked about the beatdown after the match with Humberto, that was just vicious with those kendo sticks. I mean, kendo sticks is one of the most common things you're going to see that in chairs being used as a weapon, but it seemed like almost. It was obviously vicious, but it was like it seemed new. Like you don't see like just whippings like that very often, and really definitely to me it added something, which has been an intense feud, even with Rey, obviously with the eye thing, which obviously kind of had its bad moments with the eye for an eye match. But I liked how kind of gritty this was, and it seems like this is like it almost seems like it's been building up to this, not the eye for an eye match, which is really interesting and weird. But I thought that. I'm more excited for this match now than I was for the Rey Mysterio match, which is very weird and interesting to think. But Dominic has been – it's been interesting because, I mean, he's been, like, going in and out of WWE for almost, a year and a half now, going back to Brock when Brock beat up Dominic, and maybe there was a little bit of stuff before that. But I'm interested to see what he can finally do. I mean, I know he's been training, so I mean, he's got Mysterio genes.
Yeah. Moose, you have something to say?
And that picture, I don't know if I sent a picture to our group message of Dominic laying on the ground with all those welts on his back.
The welts.
That was a vicious, like insane picture. Just kind of
those
it all
were
together.
brutal. The pictures were awesome. I mean, his back and his chest, like it was just insane. Like, ugh.
He got his ass kicked on live TV. Yeah.
Props to him to just be able to go in without ever having a televised match and just take a whooping like this. I mean, it's got to be something that's going to intimidate a lot of people. I mean, most people say they're going to get whipped by a kendo stick, like without any being able to like he's just sitting there, like he couldn't like do anything to help with the hits. So, you know what? Good on Dominic. It's got me excited. It was a great segment. I thought to open the show a solid 30 minutes to open up Raw.
Yeah, I would give it an A. So definitely. Let's move on. And then when we move on to the next segment, just essentially Zelina Vega being like, "Oh, I didn't poison Montez last week. No, and then I would ruin my shot at the tag team championship." Essentially, it was just that. And then it moved on to a match between Andrade and Dawkins, where I think Dawkins, from what it seemed like, won like twice. Andrade losing to Dawkins is not
I'm not a fan.
Ideal.
I'm not a fan of this at all. I mean, especially without it's one thing if Montez Ford is there and helps even the playing field, but I mean, Dawkins is sitting there with he has Bianca Belair come out at the very end of the match, but he's sitting there with Angel Garza and Zelina Vega around the ring, basically a 3-on-1 with the advantages towards Andrade. And Bianca Belair comes out and beats up Zelina for 15 seconds, and then that he can capitalize on that. Angel Garza doesn't get involved at all. I mean, I had a problem with Andrade losing. I mean, I feel like Andrade is a guy who has, in my mind, has always been built up so strong, and now he's just seems like he's a regular guy in a tag team match, or in a tag team now, instead of being like Andrade Cien.
Definitely did do that. Yeah.
Like that. And it was an okay match, but I mean, I just wasn't a fan of Andrade taking the pin clean here. If it was Garza, maybe it'd be different just because he's newer, but I don't know. That's kind of the problem I had. And this whole storyline is just, it seemed like there was not a lot of payoff. I mean, I hope something will come, but I don't think it was Andrade and Zelina. I don't think they poisoned them. I think it'll be something else.
Yeah, great job there. No, that was a good point. Yeah, Moose, sorry, something to say there?
I'm just saying, this storyline is, it's not really doing much for me, per se. They're great competitors. I think they're going to have an amazing match at SummerSlam, don't get me wrong. But I think just the way they're doing things with their storyline, the poison, I don't think that's a way to go. I really don't. I think that's kind of too, PG. I mean, it's PG already, but I think it's just kind of too, what's the word for it? I just kind of cringe.
PG-13?
I just don't like it, really. I just think that there could be other ways they could go about the storyline and make it a lot better. But I still think they're going to have an amazing match. But
last week when it happened, I wasn't on the show, obviously, so you guys talked about it. I'm not sure exactly what you said, but I thought it was interesting because it's something almost, I don't know, at least for me, in being a fan for 6 years, I haven't seen before within that time period. I haven't watched every Raw ever. So I was interested to see what they could do with it, but I don't think they capitalized on it at all just by having these matches. It just seemed a little bit of it was like a regular segment for what last week was creating an irregular storyline.
Well, see, the thing is about that is last week on Raw, I can't remember at all if they even showed Montez even drinking anything. You know what I mean? They didn't. All you see is him just passing out. It's they
didn't show it. They just said that he was poisoned. Prior to the match.
I think what they could have done is they could have him, drinking something or eating something, and then acting all talkative and stuff, and then when he comes to the ring, pass out so people can actually see that.
Okay, I guess to counterpoint that, now that I've just thought about it in my head, Montez, what does he come to the ring with? He comes to the ring with his cup. Yeah. I mean, who knows if he ever even has anything in the cup, but he's holding that cup. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if you think about, they just poisoned that cup, which he has constantly, that you assume he drinks out of it. Mm-hmm. But still, it wasn't spoken of. It wasn't, explained or even, alluded to. So, they have that issue, but, that could be the reasoning. Mm-hmm. Is that he just always has that cup, but again, they didn't really explain it.
Yeah, good job, guys. I think you guys explained everything there. I have nothing really to add to that. I would agree with Max there. But yeah, and then we move on to, I guess, the next segment was then also Bianca Belair versus Zelina Vega. Bianca Belair ended up winning. So it just kind of adds
probably,
a little bit more.
That was the right move, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, Selena is not really a wrestler full-time. She's a manager, so she should be losing to Bianca Belair, who's new.
I like that they're adding Bianca to this, too.
Frankly, I just wish what they should have done, because just last week Andrade beat Dawkins. I don't know why they had to do these 50-50 booking every week. They have to do it where Dawkins gets his win back. Why don't they just have the segment with Bianca Belair and then Bianca versus Zelina, have that be a longer match instead of having 2 back-to-back matches, and then do a different, maybe a more of a talking storyline to progress the poisoning thing. I mean, I just feel like they could have done a lot more things instead of having both these matches. I thought Bianca Belair winning was the right call, though.
Yeah, I agree. It's good to have her on TV. It's good that she's actually winning on TV as well. So I think we all can agree with that. And the next segment was the VIP lounge with MVP and the Hurt Crew. Which I'm going to preface this with this is that I'm just unfortunately, or the Hurt Business. Sorry. I just wish they would have done more. I wanted continuity when it came to Raw Underground with these guys. So when I saw them out there, I was kind of like, oh man, they just didn't. Like, I thought that added such a cool layer to their characters, and I thought that was really cool if they kind of ran, like they almost ran the Underground. So it's whatever, I guess. It was a fine segment. I didn't think Apollo Crews actually sounded that bad. I actually think he's actually doing pretty well with the opportunity that he's getting right now. I think he's just stepping up to the plate, and he's, to me, just because of what I'm used to with Apollo Crews since 2017, I'm not used to this guy who, even has a bit of charisma. So I like seeing this. Yeah, whatever, his laugh is funny to you, I guess. I don't know. I thought it added something, it added like a confidence to him. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't really like Apollo Crews losing or taking the pin to Shelton Benjamin unless they're going to have MVP or Shelton take the U.S. title from.
I would agree with you on that. Yeah. So, I did think that was a little dumb as well.
Yeah, and I also agree with you. I think they should have been on Underground instead of the VIP segment because, like you said, they're kind of like running through. They were pretty much killing everyone last week. So I don't know. I just think it's kind of stupid for them to own the Underground last week and then I'm not like them not even be on it. So
Max is prepping for this.
I'm just like I agree on the Raw Underground point where like they absolutely should have been on Raw Underground last night. Either trying to take over for Shane McMahon or like at least like presiding over the affairs.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think they still need to continue the feud with Apollo. So like, why can't they do both? Like, I just think having them only do this segment and not also be featured later was a mistake. That was the only problem. I think that, but I'm also conflicted with this match with Shelton winning because, like, personally, I've wanted Shelton Benjamin to seem more legit and to seem more like he wins matches actually instead of losing all the time. So, like, on one hand, I was happy to see him finally get a legitimate win. But, I mean, also it's the United States champion, which is that's just the tough thing is your champions losing all the time is it gets old. So I'm just conflicted over the whole thing. I'm conflicted really. So it really was average to me. I'm not really excited for this match at SummerSlam. We just got it last week. So
I just hope this is after SummerSlam, this feud's over and they move on with whoever wins the title. I hope they move on.
Because I don't think the Hurt Locker needs to be in a rivalry for a championship. I think I thought they presented themselves so well last week. They themselves could have just done their own, like, move on from it and just run the Underground. You know what? Be the toughest guys on there. I don't know. I wish I would have seen Brock Lesnar step up to a plate or something. I want them to have Brock versus Bobby Lashley somehow, and I want them to keep promoting them. I just don't think them losing the championship is what they need necessarily right now.
And if they're going to go after a title, go after the WWE Championship, instead of like a mid-card title. And like you said with Brock Lesnar, that'd be cool. Like eventually, like I'm quoting Bully Ray, but he said that'd be super cool. Like, Bobby Lashley's just killing everything. And then the door of the Underground opens and who comes out? It's Brock Lesnar and Heyman, like that'd be awesome. Like that'd be unreal.
because
So-
we were talking about this last week. We just think the underground itself is something that is cool because we don't need to necessarily just see a ring all the time and see people, with an empty arena, essentially, or a small place. We don't need to necessarily see that all the time. Adding some sort of different layer right now, especially with, there aren't really fans. Getting out of just seeing a boring ring right now for 3 hours and getting into that background and maybe putting a little bit more into it. And I know they're just building it, so that's completely fine. We'll see. I'm gonna give faith into it. I just thought it would have really been cool had they kind of put their foot a little bit more on the pedal with it, with the hurt business also just being part of that. I don't know. It could still happen. I just don't necessarily, I just think we just think it could be really good. We're both really big fans of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you guys. I just think that the Hurt Business didn't have a bad week. They got to win. They beat Apollo Crews. So
Yeah.
I just think where it could have been better and they could have continued to build more momentum, they just built X amount of momentum instead of Y.
Yeah, I'm not hating it either. Honestly, it's fine. I'm just saying, I think as long as it represents it well and a loss, whatever, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, that's the only thing. But all right, cool. Anything else you guys want to say with the underground? I thought Arturo was really cool this week, honestly, with it.
Yeah, we want to get into that now or
yeah. Oh yeah, since we're already on it right now, let's just
why not? Yeah, I thought the standout was Shayna Baszler to me, hands down. I mean, I love seeing Shayna whenever she can kick some ass. So I loved seeing her beat up 3 women at the same time. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm. And then we got Dabo, whatever his name is, back.
Abadado or something like that.
Dabo Kato.
Yeah, Dabo Kato. Yeah.
Dabo Kato.
Baba Booey maybe or something like that.
It used to be Baba Tunde, and now it's Dabo Kato or Babo Kato, one of those two.
With the dick slam.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a great look, no doubt about it, this guy, Dabo Kato. But I'm enjoying these segments. I really am. I really hope they don't just throw it to the side, building up Riddick Moss, which is,
that was sick.
More than he ever got next to Mojo Rawley or as 24/7 champion. So cool, good for him that he looked jacked. He looked big. I mean, Riddick Moss, I think this is the first time he's shown up since beginning of this pandemic. I think I heard that he was one of the guys that was kind of stepping away. So that was cool. Arturo Rujas, that was the guy's name?
Rujas, yeah.
That guy was cool. I mean, I loved he had the Matt Riddle look kind of without any shoes on and his back kick.
He's a former MMA fighter, actually, too.
Yeah, that's kind of what they said, right? Yeah, so that was – he seemed legit. It seemed like a good guy to kind of put some exposure on to Raw Underground. Felt like the vibe was there.
Yeah.
I just don't know. Are they going to – I'm interested to see if they – do they build any storylines into this? Do Dolph Ziggler and Arturo Ruas go at it next week after they both have one win in Underground? That's the kind of question mark for me. Are they gonna have any legit
underground champion or you know what I mean? They can have a championship.
Sure, or are they going to will there ever be a 10-minute underground match or is 2 minutes the max?
Someone's at my front door here. Regret it.
Sure, that's fine. We
keep
can
going.
Handle it. That's just kind of the thing is this has so much potential that I just want to see where. I mean, I know, and since this is at the very beginning of it, it's too quick to ask. It's probably too early to expect answers to these questions. But I already have the questions, so now I'm just sitting here I want to see more, and that's the good thing about it though is that it's getting me excited to see it more, and I hope that it doesn't get into I just don't want it to get into a revolving circle of the same guys beat up no names.
Yeah.
But that's also kind of why I like that Cal Bloom versus Riddick Moss match because that seemed more even. It seemed like it was even until Riddick finally got the move. I was just kind of talking about how Cal Bloom versus Riddick Moss, that first match right at the 9 o'clock hour or 10 o'clock hour if you're on the East Coast. I like that style where they were actually going back and forth. It seemed more legit where it wasn't just a squash. I want to see more of that. I want to see Dolph versus Rujas or I don't know. It was Riddick Moss
versus Eric.
Dabo Kato. I mean, Riddick Moss versus Eric. I mean, maybe Dabo Kato takes on Ivar. I mean, do something like that. I just don't know, what's the potential? Can they have an 8-minute match in there? It's just it's a lot of questions, but it's also getting me to want to watch more, and I'm liking where it's going. Is there a Raw Underground match at SummerSlam? I have no clue.
I think this underground is either going to be really great or it's just going to flop. I don't think there's going to be really in between. I think they're just kind of feeling it out. right now, and I think hopefully it's going to be great because, like I said, I think we're all excited for it. But if Vince McMahon could pull typical Vince McMahon and just do like those 5-second squash matches where people are just getting German suplex and then getting elbows to the face and it's over. So it's just gonna have to see. But I don't know.
And then is there a point where a guy from Underground who that kicks ass so much, are they ever going to get moved to the ring to have a real match to bring that, those wins to a real fight in the WWE ring? And that's just the questions I have.
Or Matt Riddle invades the Raw Underground,
Can SmackDown guys come? I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure there's guys over there that I'd love to see. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe Braun Strowman shows up to take on Bob Cato.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Cato.
Yeah. No, these are all really good points. I agree with you guys. Let's move on to the next one just because I don't know how much time we have left with this.
Sure. I mean, this is kind of where Raw hit the 2 straight segments that were pretty blasé, which was the 8-man tag and Liv Morgan versus
I can't stand the 24/7 championship belt. I don't know. I think it's just kind of stupid, and I really wish that it wasn't even a thing, to be honest.
With Raw Underground now, it seems even more like a thing that should be away, but R-Truth has it back. That was basically
38 time
or something like that.
30. I think they said 38, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, R-Truth is the guy that has the most fun and the best segments with it, so good that he's back. I don't know. If it's stuck to 1 segment per week, I really don't have a problem with it. But it's been here for, a year now almost?
Yeah.
I think I
really can't stand Akira Tozawa and the Ninjas. I like Akira Tozawa, but he's a singles wrestler. Like, I've seen a couple matches of him, like on NXT and stuff.
He can do a lot of things, yeah.
But this ninja bit, I just don't think it works. I just don't like it.
And this is exactly right also, which I saw on Twitter from multiple people, so I don't remember exactly who, but these ninjas, they look way too damn similar to Retribution. They look exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like, if you're trying to bring new people in and they see Retribution and the ninjas, they are going to think that the next segment was Retribution in a tag team match, not these ninjas. I mean, if you don't know what these are. So the ninjas are probably something that needs to go, most likely, unless they're going to do something actually interesting with it. I don't know. The Liv Morgan match was okay. It was pretty below average, and Peyton Royce got her win back.
Roll up.
Yeah, Peyton Royce got her win back, so it's classic 50-50 booking.
Are we gonna get a tag match, the Iconics versus the Riot Squad? I think at some point. That's what they're gonna go.
I bet that could be. I bet that'll be maybe a SummerSlam match. Which, hey, that could be a good match. If they actually have a match. I mean, if they don't just have it.
But the issue is it's probably going to happen on like a Monday Night Raw or like SmackDown, and then we're already going to see it, and then it's going to be
maybe it's a pre-show match. Maybe a pre-show match, yeah.
I don't know. This segment, I did definitely change the channel for a little bit, so I can't really comment on it. But I can say with the Bayley versus Asuka, that was a good match. I could watch these guys go at it honestly all day and every night, and my mouth waters just every second thinking about it. So, what do you guys think?
We should talk about Retribution for a second?
Oh yeah.
There's just not much more to talk about with these segments, but Retribution, which is again something interesting that's almost already I'm already preparing for it to be disappointing because there's a few things. These things they're doing, it seems like they're just other ninjas almost, but also
that's not the group of guys. They're literally just doing it to distract everyone.
Okay, so like, what is this all going to mean? That they keep having the lights go off, or that they teleport the ring?
It's going to be like Tommaso, and it's going to be like those guys. Okay. You're going to go blow your mind. I
hope so. I
think that's the rumor, isn't it?
I thought the guy that was talking last night after they threw the brick through it, I thought that was Oni Lorcan.
They said it was Dijakovic, I thought.
I definitely wasn't tall enough to be Dijakovic.
Yeah, Dijakovic's like 6'6", isn't he?
Right.
These guys are all like below 6'2" at the most.
No. They're doing different guys from.
That's the thing. I definitely think they're using different people, so they're trying to throw people off. Like
exactly.
Absolutely.
They don't want us to know who it is.
So like what they're gonna think it's about what it can probably be 3 guys and 2 girls is what kind of what.
I don't think Bruce. I think Bruce. No, I think Bruce Pritchard right now is gonna. I think they're gonna nail. I think it's gonna be Tommaso Ciampa. He's been gone. Maybe Velveteen Dream, maybe Dominic Dijakovic. I don't know who it might be. I
I
don't
don't
think it's
want
going to
Velveteen
fail
Dream.
because
That just doesn't
they
make sense
need
for his
ratings.
character.
They present it
EC3,
as ratings.
EC3.
EC3's in TNA.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm just fucking around.
Dumb. No, yeah, I just
I'm excited for the reveal, but I just don't know how long are they gonna keep
Yeah,
doing
well-
these things. I want the reveal. That's just my thing. I want to know who it is and want there to actually be a
Yeah.
storyline instead of
Storyline, yeah.
random just
Them destroying stuff.
random destruction things with masked men.
there
trying to
has to
throw
be
us
a
off.
reason that they're presenting it in this way. I feel like they announced it online that it's going to be a huge thing, a new factions here, and then it's a bunch of 5'6" people. Like, what are you trying to really like? They have to be throwing us off instead of just putting like Oni Lorcan and like Leo Rush and like random people like that into that. Like,
If it's Tommaso Ciampa, Oni Lorcan, and Danny Burch, I'm excited. I love those guys. I think that's awesome. So I don't know what you're thinking, but I think that's fantastic.
Ciampa's
Oni
better than
Larkin,
Oni
I
Larkin's up
included.
there.
I
Oni
said
Oni
Ciampa-
Larkin's actually being shown
Oni Larkin's
finally
one of my
on
favorite.
NXT. He's staying on NXT.
what if he's
I
not?
think it's the Undisputed Era.
Look at the signs. Who's been kicked off of TV recently? Velveteen Dream. We've got
It's undisputed.
I hope
we've
it's not
got
Velveteen Dream.
Dijakovic.
Velveteen Dream being in this would make no sense.
It's
He's
Undisputed
always
Era.
his own guy. Velveteen Dream is himself. He's a character. He's not a person that's a part of a retribution.
So was John Moxley. So was John Moxley, and so was Roman Reigns.
It's
so was
KO
Seth
and
Rollins,
Undertaker.
and they all
Very
came together.
Very different
How?
situation.
How's different?
Because they didn't have none of them were Velveteen Dream. Nobody had this like huge like flamboyant character that's like
John
himself.
Moxley-
That's John Moxley. Dean Ambrose was not
huge.
nearly the same as
Dean
Velveteen
Ambrose
Dream.
was huge when he was in FCW and NXT when he was earlier in it. Seth
But
Rollins
that was
the
also such a
champion
different age.
beforehand.
You weren't watching at that point, Kevin.
I can tell you though, I know how to watch
I know,
freaking
too,
read history.
but
I'm not
Dean
denying
Ambrose-
that.
Dean Ambrose is not nearly the same type of character that
CM
Velveteen Dream
Punk
is.
went
He's
down there,
different.
literally went down there and
It's CM Punk.
challenged Dean Ambrose like because he was so big in the development. He went down there because Dean Ambrose is at that level. I don't know what you're talking about.
But Dean Ambrose was like all about chaos. He had like Velveteen Dream is all about flamboyance and coming to the ring with big.
Right, but
with
right
huge
now
things.
he's not exactly everyone's fan.
I think the Velveteen Dream Dean Ambrose
I think.
comparison is
Hey,
completely off base.
I think it's.
Okay, so I'm just saying there's 3 guys who nobody knew about who were in the Shield randomly put together. They can do it for this same thing for Retribution. That's all I'm saying.
it's going to be. It's Undisputed Era and CM Punk.
No, it's not.
How crazy?
I mean,
would that
what are
be,
they gonna do? Is it really gonna be all white guys? I mean, we've seen these guys.
I just told you it's going to be
people of color.
Dijakovic, Velveteen Dream, and it's going to be Ciampa. Max, I'm sorry.
Okay. Well,
I
we'll
don't know.
see.
I mean, that'd be amazing, honestly.
We'll see.
I really don't truthfully know.
All
I
right,
hope
moving
that,
on,
I have
moving
read
on.
that, though. Okay, Moose is okay. Then moving on, we're listening to. We can go. Why don't we just end it? Should we? What was the right before the
Well,
main
they
event,
did have
essentially?
Asuka versus Bailey, which
I think we got to talk about Randy Orton and Ric Flair.
Well, I know we're going to, but
Well, yeah,
Asuka versus
7
Bailey, we
minutes.
don't just
Okay. You want to give
So,
a quick
the
snippet?
biggest women's match of the week with the oh my gosh.
No, I would say the Friday
Asuka-
match. The winner gets a shot at Bailey. The 3 brand.
Yeah, that's gonna be sweet, but like we have it set up Asuka versus Sasha at SummerSlam, and I finally want them to do their match with no bullshit, with no stupid ending. Let them have their match. We've seen how good they can do.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that match. I hope that there's no shenanigans again. That's basically all I have to say.
I agree. I think this might be the match that steals the show. Let's be real. I had
Very
SummerSlam,
possible.
so yeah, I'm excited too. I just kind of knew it was going to happen. Honestly,
Mhm.
Well, I know, but it was still an entertaining piece of Raw. It was
Yeah.
a 2-minute match.
That's what I said right before. I brought that up. I said it was maybe match of the night.
Yeah, pretty close with Kevin versus
Yeah,
Randy,
and
probably.
then let's go into that too. Moose, passionate fan below me here. Discuss with me what we talked about the main event. Let's go into it. Dive in.
So we have, last week we had KO talk to Ric Flair, and Ric Flair is pretty much saying how he wants him to be. He should be more like Randy Orton, and KO is like, no, blah blah blah. They schedule a match, and they have a good match, and then you have Randy winning, but the end of the match, after the match, is what what we need to talk about is
made the headlines.
Yeah, is Ric Flair getting saying he wants him to beat John Cena's record, or he wants to beat his record, not John Cena's record. And he wants to watch him win
tied,
it 16, 17.
Yep.
And then you have Randy low blowing him, and then he acts like he's gonna punt him, and then the lights go out. I just don't. That's a good.
He punted him. You don't see it, but he punted him.
Yeah, he punted him.
So is Ric Flair dead then, or what?
Essentially.
Yeah. He's in the morgue with the Big Show and Edge and Christian.
Yeah. Yeah. Go on, Moose. Or go on, Max.
Anyway.
Yeah. So a great ending to Raw. I mean, Randy Orton, who's just so on top of his game, and not really what I was expecting because, him with Ric Flair has just been like, that's the thing. But like, now that I see him, like, this makes perfect sense because he's the legend killer. Why would he not punt the only other legend that's really been on Raw? Like that's the whole thing is like, I wasn't absolutely loving him with Rick because it seemed like he's more of like a lone wolf, and it makes sense kind of that he was kind of playing around with Rick to have Rick help him out in certain situations, have him kick Christian in the nuts so he can set up that punt, like kind of just like using Rick until he doesn't need him anymore, which he's finally one Raw away from his championship match, which that's obviously the biggest match of SummerSlam probably, with that or The Fiend versus Braun. So, a great ending to Raw. It just adds more to the Drew versus Randy storyline, and Randy just keeps doing amazing stuff.
Yeah, he's the best he's ever. Some are saying he's the best he's ever been right now. Moose, would you any comments you want to add to that before I go in?
I think this just furthers the storyline that Randy is, the best, one of the best to ever do it, and him taking out the greatest of all time, which everyone says Ric Flair is, and I agree, he's probably the greatest of all time. It just kind of solidifies him as the chosen one. He's been saying that, and he's been screwing over people left and right, and that's what Drew was saying the previous week, is how he's been screwing over people to get his way, And I think that just kind of solidified that in that storyline even more.
Yeah, good point. It really shows how we took Randy Orton for granted. And Randy Orton, when he wants to step up and be the best, he honestly is one of the best. Could be on, depending on who you ask, could be on our Mount Rushmore at this point, depending on what the rest of his career does. You never know. Randy Orton is just, he is seriously a Hall of Famer, and he's just proving it every single Raw. And I'm enjoying it. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same. Every week we praise Randy Orton, so what can you can't praise him anymore. It's just
and I'm excited for the match against Drew.
Do you guys think that he beats Drew at SummerSlam, or do you think?
I do.
I think he does too. But
and then Edge comes back, and that's the WrestleMania match.
Yeah, that's still on the line probably next year. But yeah.
Well, yeah, but.
I don't know. It's just really tough because Drew has just been so great as champion. To have to have his entire run be without fans is kind of disappointing. But you can't do anything about that. It's just.
It'd also be cool to have Drew win, though.
He will get it back, though.
No matter what he absolutely.
He's solidified himself, I'd say, as a guy that they want to go with. They can trust.
100%.
Yeah. But it'd also be cool though if Drew somehow pulls it off. Maybe Ric Flair comes back and low blows Randy in the nuts,
Yeah, Ric Flair punted in the head.
Maybe this is the end game. Maybe Retribution comes out and takes out Randy Orton. Maybe that's what they're going for.
And it's Heath later.
They take out Drew Mac. I think
maybe Drew is the leader of Retribution.
Yeah, no one knows.
Whoa, maybe Santino Marella.
Cobras.
What if he came back? The Boogeyman just takes it off.
Honestly, though, I probably would love nothing more than for Kevin Owens to be the leader of Retribution.
Yeah,
it's KO and Undisputed Era, like you said, Max.
No, that would be
sick. That would be sick.
That'd be very sick.
Makes sense because we've seen people of color being in the masks, but a lot of things don't make sense in WWE.
What if it's John Cena?
Hey, I am all for the John Cena's finally turning heel at some point, but I just don't think he's coming back to WWE.
That'd be sick. John Cena, just a jacked one, shows up in the middle of a really jacked one in a black, really tight outfit. You just know it's John Cena.
He just takes it off. He's wearing a football jersey.
He just has like a really tight black shirt on, just his like arms, like they're protruding, his muscles are like breaking out through the shirt.
All
Yeah,
right,
His
hey,
name was John Cena.
hey, that's awesome. Hey, I'm glad we got back together here first time in a couple weeks. This is the end of the episode here. Let's close it out. Max, where can everybody find you online?
Max_the walk on Twitter, baby.
All right, Moose, same with you. What's yours?
$1.20.
Perfect. We all thought Monday Night Raw was a pretty good Raw. We're excited to see what's coming up. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Love you guys, and peace out.